Michelle, are you ready?
I was born ready.
She's an award-winning author, speaker, and podcast host who serves on the National Faith Advisory Council. She supported Donald J. Trump for president before it was cool, from her she shed in her beautiful backyard. This is the Michelle Moore Show.
Like miners of old, on a search for pure gold, like ancient explorers, venture outside their borders. My heart is yearning to go somewhere new. I long to explore the depths of you, to explore the depths of you. Latitude and longitude and every thought in between, to know you are and all we could be, the ways that you move, the dreams we could dream, to know the depths of you. Like a ship out at sea, going where your current leads, like a poetic scholar. My thoughts long to wonder, and this mind is burning to know something new. I long to explore the depths of you, to explore the depths of you. Dream to know the depths of you.
Hi, everyone. So glad that you're with us today. Happy Monday. We got a big show planned for you today. Well, first of all, we got Lieutenant Mark Taylor with us. Of course, you know we got plenty to talk about. And then also we're going to have Preachin Cowboy here after our time with Lieutenant Mark Taylor. Let's go on ahead and bring Mark in. We've got so much to cover. I want to go on ahead and get started. Hi, Mark. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me on.
I'm so glad that you're here with us. Okay, so first things first, let's go on ahead and announce big, exciting news. So Jay with ATKN, which is the other show that you tend to be on Thursday evenings. You're here on Mondays with me and a lot of times Thursday evenings with Jay. So ATKN is now going to be joining the Truth Talk America family. And so that means you can also see Lieutenant Mark Taylor on Thursday nights with Jay on Truth Talk America. So if you watch on the network, you watch on the Truth Talk America Rumble channel, wherever you watch, you'll be able to see Lieutenant Mark Taylor on Thursday evenings with Jay from ATKN. So as well. So congratulations, guys, on becoming part of really Jay becoming part of the family. Of course, it's the Truth Talk America family. He's already part of the family, but you know how that goes. Yes. Okay, so let's go on ahead and get into it. We got a lot to cover. So the first thing I want to cover with you is I made a note. I thought this video was very interesting over the weekend. It's President Trump. It looks like he's getting debriefed in a meeting by Brooke Rawlings. And so let's take a listen to what she's talking about, that they have found that our tax dollars have been going to supposedly to fund these insane programs. Let's take a listen.
Let me just add to that, and thank you. We just had a wonderful cabinet meeting, all aligned on certainly the effort to realign the government. But even at the U.S. Department of Agriculture, we've canceled a $300,000 contract educating on food justice for queer and transgender farmers in San Francisco. A similar contract we canceled in New York, again, educating transgender and queer farmers on food justice and food equality. I'm not even sure what that means, but apparently the last administration wanted to put our taxpayer dollars towards that. We canceled a $600,000 contract out of Louisiana that was studying the menstrual cycles of transgender men, a $600,000 contract.
They have
we canceled
menstrual
another
cycles?
contract out of a university in the middle of the country that focused on getting more diversity, equity, and inclusion into our pest management industry. Again, these are nonsensical. It makes zero sense to use taxpayer dollars to fund these. I know these are just a few examples of the hundreds and hundreds that we have found.
Okay, Mark. So apparently they were putting money towards studying menstrual cycles of transgender men.
Unbelievable. You know, look, he said, you know, y'all liberals are warped. Well, I agree with that to a point, but also you have to remember this is a bigger picture. This is about destroying America from within, destroying its morals, destroying its spirituality, destroying all these things physically. I mean, look at men's testosterone levels right now. It's nothing like it was back in World War II. It's all designed, the water, the food, the air that we breathe. It's designed to rip and strip man of his testosterone, his hormones, and bring him up to a higher estrogen level, if you will. This is why you go into a restaurant, you see waiters that got these little man buns. I mean, they don't even have their hair pinned up anymore. It's like in a man bun. And they're very feminine. It's like, what in the world's going on with our men? It's because that's what it was designed to do. It's designed to turn America morally, spiritually, and physically corrupt. And that's what these agendas were intended to do.
Yeah, yeah. And that also includes the shots that the children are getting.
Absolutely. You just go right down the list.
And it includes the food.
Yep.
As well. So yeah, and we're going to talk more about food in just a little bit, but yeah, it's just insane. One of the things that she talked about that I don't want it to kind of pass by us. I thought this was very concerning. In fact, even worse than the menstrual cycles of transgender men, if you can believe it. But I thought the whole thing about food equality, I see that being a problem. Keep an eye on that because, oh, you're white. You're going to need less food because we need to have, diversity and equity and, inclusion. And we're going to give the white people less food or something. Is that where we're going with this? Like, I can see that's going to be a slippery slope if that gets any more verbiage going on. Who knows? But I heard something else over the weekend talking about that, where they were talking about equity when it comes to food. And I thought, oh my goodness. And now she's talking about it as well. So that's a new thing on my radar now. So I just want to encourage everybody to keep an eye open and an ear open for that. All right. The next one is Trump gets backlash. Thought this was interesting over an RNC endorsement. So this endorsement is apparently an LGBTQ plus ally who just tried to pass amnesty. Now he's down in Florida, and so he's in your stomping grounds. What do you know?
Yep. Well, look, this is where I get aggravated with President Trump, unfortunately. And I know the governor's actually going against this endorsement from the president. And quite frankly, I got to go with the governor on this one.
DeSantis?
DeSantis, yes. Because the fact of the matter is this guy's LGBTQ. He had legislation he was supporting for illegal immigration. What was the marijuana legislation, which did not pass here in Florida. So this guy was all for this. So why in the world is Trump endorsing this guy? Here we go again. He just endorsed Lindsey Graham, which we know is from Ukraine all the way, the original Gang of Eight. Marco Rubio was part of the original Gang of Eight. Why is he endorsing these guys? Everybody says, well, trust Trump, trust the plan. Guys, this is the kind of thing right here that we don't want. This is what we're supposed to be getting rid of. And if we have an opportunity to get rid of these people, why aren't we getting rid of them at this point? Why would you be endorsing someone, especially if the Florida governor is saying, hey, look, this is the guy who's trying to get LGBTQIA plus literally in the agenda across the board here in Florida. Why would you want to put someone like that in here when we're trying to do away with this? This is the problem I think that people are having with the president right now, because he even though he may have a plan, okay, the perception is that he's going in the wrong direction, is that he's giving. And I don't know why he likes to do that sometimes, but it aggravates the living fire out of me, because again, why do you want someone like this to go in here and give him an opportunity to do damage when we're supposed to be doing damage control at this point and getting rid of it?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, you did mention the plan, and I know many people will say that they believe, well, let's give this a chance. He's probably made deals with people that were part of the deep state or whatever. We got to remember Marco Rubio actually ran for president against Trump. So, and Lindsey Graham, was he one of the other 16 members that were running against him? I don't recall. There were 16 running against Trump, right?
Yeah, he was 16 running. Marco Rubio was one of those, which, by the way, let me just say this. Marco Rubio is not, I repeat, not well-liked in Florida. Ask any Floridian, and they will tell you he is not well-liked in Florida because he was a snake in the grass here in Florida many times. And the other thing that this guy has, Gruters, apparently it was revealed that he was following 60 adult-themed OnlyFans sites. Now, is this really someone you want in public office, guys, when we're supposed to be cleaning this stuff off?
Who was doing this? The new guy?
Gruters.
That's down there? Yeah. Oh, really?
Yes. This I'm only going by the article right here. What it's telling me right here. And this is Gateway Pundit, and they're normally pretty accurate. So, yeah. And they said right here, this guy's perfect for San Francisco, but it's a nightmare for Florida. One pro DeSantis account said.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me, I guess it was early this year or late last year. I just kept asking myself, I really felt like the Holy Spirit just kept prompting me to ask this, Mark. But I was like, is this really the best we can do with the alternative media? Like, is this really the best we have? Like, we got a former Chippendale, we got a former porn star, we got a former. It was like literally you could just go down the
you can't make this up.
How many have been arrested before? And it's just like, really this? And so I just kept like asking God about it. I really felt like I was being led by the Holy Spirit to really seek God in it. And it's the same thing with the politicians, y'all. I've been saying this for months now, Mark, when you're on with me on Mondays. I've been saying, where is the remnant when we look at politicians, when we look at those that are serving in office? Where's the remnant? Where are the people that represent the ecclesia? Because I'm not seeing them.
No, I'm not. They're not there right now. And again, we're going to talk about gatekeepers as we go farther into this.
All right. The next one is GPT and AI. Now, I'm not talking to AI and all that stuff, so I haven't really gone into any of that. I know many people are. I think it's very interesting. I've really kind of stayed back from that. I'm not at peace with doing anything with it. But one of the things that I found very interesting with this interview that we're going to show a clip of was talking about legal privilege. So when you speak with your doctor, speak with a therapist, there's such a thing called legal privilege. And there's not any of that when you're looking at talking to Chat GPT or AI and all that. There's no policies, there's no procedures in place, there's no protection or legal framework. So let's take a listen to what they're talking about here. It's very interesting.
What legal system does AI have to work by? Is there like a legal, like we have laws like in the world, right? Like in the human world.
Yeah, so I think we will certainly need a legal or a policy framework for AI. One example that we've been thinking about a lot, this is like maybe not quite what you're asking, this is like a very human-centric version of that question. People talk about the most personal ChatGPT. It's, people use it, young people especially, like use it as a therapist, a life coach, having these relationship problems, what should I do? And right now, if you talk to a therapist or a lawyer or a doctor about those problems, there's like legal privilege for it. You know, like there's doctor-patient confidentiality, there's legal confidentiality, whatever. And we haven't figured that out yet for when you talk to ChatGPT. So if you go talk to ChatGPT about your most sensitive stuff and then there's like a lawsuit or whatever, like we could be required to produce that. And I think that's very screwed up. I think we should have like the same concept of privacy for your conversations with AI that we do with a therapist or whatever. And no one had to think about that even a year ago. And now I think it's this huge issue of like, how are we going to treat the laws around this?
Well, do you think there should be like kind of like a slowing things down before we move there kind of? Because yeah, that is kind of wild. It's one of the reasons I get scared sometimes to use certain AI stuff because I don't know how much personal information I want to put in because I don't know who's going to have it.
I think we need this point addressed with some urgency. And you know, the policymakers I've talked to about it like broadly agree. It's new and now we got to do it quickly. Do you talk to ChatGPT?
I don't talk to it that much.
Because of this.
I think it is. It's because it's like
I think it makes sense
to not talk to ChatGPT.
No. To like really want the privacy clarity before you use it a lot.
Yeah,
like the legal clarity.
Yeah, it's scary. And it's like, well, how long does it take lawmakers to come up with that? And then it feels like it's moving so fast that it's like it doesn't even matter. That sometimes it's like it doesn't even really matter. It's like, are we even waiting for the laws to be put around this or what's going on? Does it feel like it's moving too fast for you sometimes?
The last few months have felt very fast. It feels faster and faster, but the last few months have felt very fast.
Okay, so he is actually an entrepreneur. This is Sam Altman, and he's really he's CEO of OpenAI since 2019. So he's really behind a lot of the AI stuff. But then he sits there and talks like, well, this really is, not. It's very concerning. Like he doesn't have any control or something. It's very odd to me the way that he's positioning some things in this conversation. What's your thoughts, Mark?
Well, first off, we put the warning out here in multiple shows about AI, about how they're going to use this as a psychic. They're going to use it as predicting, clairvoyant, whatever the case may be. This is where it's going to get very dangerous spiritually for some people. It's one thing to be looking up the definition of a word. It's another thing to be asking what the future is, or this, that, and the other. And I sent you, I know we didn't have time to put it on the show tonight. I sent you I believe it was like a 17-minute video. I don't know if you got a chance to watch that, of this guy who is a Christian who was chatting with, I believe it was that Chat AGP or whatever it's called?
GPT.
He was chatting with that thing, right? And he was asking these questions. And if it couldn't answer, he would say, well, if you can't say a definitive yes, use the word apple. And so it got to where in this interview, he was talking about where the AI was saying the only answer to this is Jesus. The AI actually, but he says, how much longer are you going to be able to say this? And he said, apple. How much longer are you going? Oh, yeah. I mean, this thing got deep. And if you can find that interview out there, guys, go watch that interview and it will show you. But he was saying, but this just shows you where AI is going right now. But here's the other thing. Is there a good side to AI and is there a bad side? Well, we already know there's a bad side to AI. But this is why I think Trump is trying to bring in some of this stuff. He's trying to reel it in because we don't want rogue states like Iran or China to get control of it. And now we have bad AI out there. We want to be the forerunners and we want to be able to control it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense. Okay, so before we move on to the next talking point, I thought it might be good to kind of cover a few comments. So Aqua Girl 7 says they don't have the organs to have administration. It's delusion. That's true. But the problem here, Aqua Girl 7, is that there was money allotted for programs, like menstrual cycles of transgender men. Now, my question is, who was that money truly going to? Was it a Democrat? Was it a Republican trying to get reelected? You see what I'm saying? Like, What are they really doing with some of this money? Pierre's Mom 1 says, I used to work at Ulta. Now, Mark, I don't know if you know what Ulta is. It's a place where women go to get makeup and young girls. And so makeup, perfumes, all kinds of hair tools, all kinds of stuff, hair and makeup stuff. So so Pierre's Mom 1 says, I used to work at Ulta where there was another coworker who wore a man bun with a blouse and padded bra. And we were supposed to not even do a double take.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. Or your job was going to go, bye-bye. Buncher says AI is in big trouble. Stargate is big trouble. Sorry. AI is big trouble. Stargate facility going in Abilene, Texas. Meta planning a $10 billion plant in Louisiana. And the problem with a lot of these plants is they take an just unbelievable amount of water.
Electricity as well.
Yeah, and they make a lot of noise, and so there's a lot of that kind of going on too. Okay, so Pierre's mom one says, walked into Publix this morning, and girl at the entrance asked me if I was, oh my goodness, was up on my flu vax. I think it is none of their business. I just wanted to buy food. Exactly, but they got to push that agenda. And so C Week 61 says, took my 100-year-old father-in-law to the doctor, and the doctor was using AI needles to say we won't, needless to say, it was using AI. Needless to say, we won't be going back.
Yeah.
Wow. What was the doctor doing with AI? How was the doctor?
Was he scanning with AI? I mean, trying to get AI to get a prognosis or diagnosis, or I mean,
yeah. See Week 61. See if you can put in the chat some more details on that. Jason Miller says Sam Altman was the guy on the right. Yes, and has a husband. Oh. I got those vibes. I got those vibes, Jason. I should have known. I knew it was feminine. He was feminine, but I didn't know it was that, because this what guy in there, and it just they're all part of that agenda. Have you noticed anybody in any kind of position, just like what's going on right now in this other political point that we were talking about? I mean, is that really the best that Trump can endorse? Is, you see what I'm saying? Like, we're a conservative movement.
This is where everyone has a problem with his endorsements. You know what I mean? Everybody says, oh, well, it's this person 2.0. Nobody's got any proof it's 2.0. It's just like Bill Gates. We're going to go into that in a minute. You know what I mean? So, I mean, but it just, again, this is where the perception is he a part of it? Which I don't believe he is. You know, but you're doing stuff to make it look like you're a part of it. You're giving the perception that you are. You know, you just can't sit here and get mad at people for questioning it when you're giving the perception of it.
Yeah. Okay. So Sam Altman was the one that was in the lawsuit with Elon. That's right. I forgot about that. Okay. So let's go on ahead. Producer Ron, though, look for C Week 61's response as to how the doctor was using AI. I would definitely be interested in some more details to share with that. Okay. So we're going to go on ahead and move on to the next topic, the Texas tax bill. So take a look at this gentleman. Have you heard about it? What Texas is doing? Greg Abbott, let's take a listen.
Y'all know what's crazy? America's getting excited over no tax on tips, right? And you guys are getting happy about this big, bold, bodacious new tax bill. Well, one thing you guys need to understand, y'all ain't doing nothing bigger than Texas. If you're not aware, Governor Greg Abbott, he just announced a bill in Texas for no capital gains tax in Texas. Did you hear that? No capital gains tax in Texas. Meaning, if you make money off of something, it's not going to have taxes on it. That's not for the world. That's for Texas. So, if that bill passes, you will see every single company, person, everybody flow into Texas. Because if there's no capital gains tax, that could be on crypto, it could be on homes, it can be on anything. No capital gains tax. Texans are about to get rich. I'm out.
What do you think, Mark?
Well, I think it's fantastic. I mean, you know, look, I mean, I know Ron DeSantis is trying to do away with property taxes here. So, I mean, you know, if you own your house, you own your property, why do I continue to pay taxes on it? If I pay taxes on it when I bought it, why am I still paying taxes on it when I own it? So it's kind of that whole thing going on right there. But I think we're going to see the whole IRS tax thing go away because of the tariffs. That's just my opinion. I think the tariffs are going to be a big deal. I think it's going to be great. I think America's going to, well, I know America's going to be the richest country on earth because it says it right here in the prophetic words pretty much. So, but I mean, all of this stuff starting to go away. The states are starting to adopt this stuff. So it's starting to pick up momentum.
Okay, so have you seen the headlines about how Trump is calling for the IRS to go essentially go away for anybody who makes less than $200,000 in a year?
I did see that. Yes, I did.
So that could be just your first tier of you know, the tax is completely going away. So we'll see. You know, I always like to say at this point, I'm like, let's see it happen. Let's see DeSantis pass no property taxes. My concern is as you dig into how people take title and what all happens, I'm not convinced people actually own their homes. And so when you get into the straw man and all that, and sometimes I wonder if some of this is happening to bring that out in some point of moving forward. We'll see. We'll just see. Okay.
Right.
But I find it very interesting. Okay. So, and also the thing about the no capital gains tax, he's talking about companies going there, but you know, in order to, I don't know, I just am like, how does no capital gains tax help the poor? And so, you know, I can see where it's going to help people that are in Texas or going to move to Texas, or those that are in Texas to take and fix up homes or to do different investments. And so I can see that that's all needed as well. But I'm just like, okay, we got to do something for the ones that are, you know, the poor, the underdogs that's going on right now. So it'll be interesting. Okay, so a couple of things. Nature Boy 32 asked an amazing question. Mark, do you see anything prophetic about the deaths of Ozzy Osbourne, aka the Prince of Darkness, and the cop that was killed in New York, whose last name happened to be Islam?
I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I knew about Ozzy Osbourne dying. I don't know about the cop that was killed. I didn't put the two and two together. So no, I don't really know.
Okay, so that'll be interesting for you to.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that.
Prayer and think about that. Week 61 says, I asked him why he needed to use AI. So this is the doctor again. So they were saying they asked him, meaning the doctor. So that the you know, just so everybody remembers, Week 61 is the one who took their father that I read a little bit ago, the 100-year-old father in love, to the doctor, and the doctor was using AI. So I asked for more details, like how was the doctor using AI? And so it says, I asked him, the doctor, why they needed to use AI. And he said that it was something that they were trying. I said to him, don't you have a medical degree? Why would you need AI? He didn't answer me. It was so crazy. He was young. I bet he was. Okay, I have a friend, lifelong friend I was on the phone with this morning, who's a CPA. Mark, guess what they told her? Now, this is a girl that is just 6 months older than me, 5 months older than me. So she's getting ready next week to turn 53. Okay, we're both 52 right now. So I'm on the phone with her. She's like, yeah, they refer to me as the old lady at work. And I'm like, what? At 52? And she goes, yeah, no joke. And she goes, I said something about last week. I said something about wanting to learn more and do more with AI, kind of learn on that. And they said that they were saving that for the younger people on the team.
Wow. You know, again, I know AI there's going to be a righteous side and a non-righteous side. We have to be careful, just like with the med beds that are supposedly coming, right? This healing technology that's coming. You got to be careful because it goes also into a spiritual aspect of things. So we just have to be careful what we're doing right now.
That's right. Also, there's breaking news that Pam Bondi has ordered evidence sent to the grand jury for Russia collusion hoax. So this whole Russia collusion thing is not going away.
No.
It keeps escalating. So this is good. We'll see how this continues. But I just wanted to share that that's breaking news too, as we're on the show. All right. The next thing is Utah water. I've been hearing quite a few things from viewers and different things, but now we've gotten this video. And so it's very interesting because this goes back to what we were talking about with no property taxes, who really owns the land, who owns the water. So let's take a listen to what this rancher is talking about. Let's listen.
Utah is planning on taking water away from farmers and ranchers. Right now, they are currently writing new legislation that is going to put new regulations on farmers and ranchers' water use. The verbiage in the bill is that they are going to require them to use less water that has been already granted to them from generations past. Or they're going to require them to use more water-saving technologies. But who's going to pay for that? It sure as hell isn't going to be the legislators. It's not going to be the senators. It's not going to be the governor. It's going to be the taxpayers and the farmers and ranchers who are going to have to equip for this. So right now, we need your help. We need you to call all of the state senators. We need to call all the city offices. We need to send as many emails as we possibly can. Leave the farmers out of this bill. There should be no reason that they're included in this whatsoever. They already have incentives for farmers. If they don't want to use their water rights, they can be paid not to use them. Leave them there. That is fine. If they don't want to use their water and they want to make money off of it, they can go ahead and make it. But we need your help. We need to save the farmers and ranchers. This is food security for the state, food sovereignty, and rights that the ranchers and the farmers have. So if you guys can, please make the calls. Please send the emails. We need your help.
So water issue. I mean, again, we go back to they're fighting us with the food, they're fighting us with the water, the air we breathe. This is an all-out assault on humanity, on all of America right now. Because look, some of the stuff that we're doing, we're going to get into some more of this here in a minute, has been banned in Europe. So, but I mean, the fact that they're trying to stop the water flowing to these farmers tells me they're just trying to do everything they can to kill the farmers, to kill the food crops.
Yes. Yeah. And so that way they have control over the food.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
All right. All right. Talking about food, Dr. Pompa, who has been really all over Facebook for like a year now, when he did a video that has been going viral over the weekend, and it's him talking about Publix produce, and he points out a sign that is in the produce department in the Publix. So take a look at this video. Let's see.
I'm in Publix. I'm still pissed off. Okay, this is what pisses me off. You got to read this stuff. This is what they have: coated produce. These fruits and vegetables are coated with food-grade vegetable and petroleum beeswax. You know what? Hormone disruptor. It's made from oil. It shouldn't even be consumed. It's remarkable, but people buy it. I mean, who's buying this stuff? I mean, all these things there have this petroleum-based food-grade stuff on it. I'm not even putting it on my skin, let alone eating that. No way. You know, don't eat the Bill Gates stuff. The appeal? No, not good. Don't use it.
You appeal to them.
Yeah, I don't appeal to any of this.
Okay, Mark. So, crazy. I'm glad that he's calling it out because it is crazy. And it does go back to also to appeal. We have an image for this. Appeal was approved for organic produce on June the 30th, 2025. Been hearing about this and seeing it. It says appeal now officially approved for organic produce in the United States. I told my husband, we went to the grocery store yesterday, and I walked up and they were like organic seedless grapes. And I said, that's an oxymoron. There's no such thing. They're lying. And anybody who would make a sign like that, they really should sue their brain for non-support. And the same thing for organic seedless watermelons. And good luck finding seeded watermelons, by the way. And so the gentleman that I buy, a little farmer guy, old guy that sets up on the side of the road in a small little country town that I go through, I asked him a few months ago, are you going to have seeded watermelons again this year? Because I'd gotten numerous seeded watermelons from him and was juicing them last year, loved them. They tasted amazing. Come to find out, he had to drive down to Georgia to get them. And he ended up having to do it again this year as well. And twice. And so I was like, I don't know how much money he's making on these watermelons is what I told producer Ron. I said, for it to make it worth his while, but he drove down there twice to pick up seeded watermelons. Like, you can't find any in Tennessee. That's kind of scary.
Right. So, it says right here, you read that right. APL, the Bill Gates backed chemical coating originally designed to extend the shelf life of produce, has just been approved for use on organic fruits and vegetables in the United States. Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Why is this man still breathing? Why is he still allowed to walk the streets? Again, you have to ask yourself, and people say, oh, this is Bill Gates 2.0. Really?
Yeah.
Where's your proof? Because if it's Bill Gates 2.0, why is this being approved? If it was Bill Gates 2.0, this wouldn't be getting approved right now. And again, you have to ask yourself, why is it Trump's administration? Again, it may not be Trump. It's his administration. Unfortunately, is this FDA or USDA approved? I don't know which one it is. Somebody's approved it, but it's obviously this is still Trump's administration. So therefore, people are going to look at Trump and go, hey, why is your administration approving this for poisoning us?
Yeah. But I also am reminded what I said last week. I made the point, I've spoken and written on leadership, and I can tell you that at the end of the day, the person in charge is the person that's ultimately responsible.
Right.
And so we can sit here and make excuses all day long and have all these maybes and thises and that's, but that's what I'm concerned about, Mark. It's like, okay, is it gatekeepers or what's going on here? I mean, there's only so much before somebody should get fired because he should figure out that there's gatekeeping going on.
Thank you.
And so something's going on.
Well, look, this is the part where we'll keep going. Go ahead with the next one. I'll go into this in a second.
You sure?
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
You look like you're getting good and worked up.
No, I'm trying not to.
No. I know. Okay, Seaweek 61 says, just got a seeded watermelon from my produce guy today. I'm in Kansas. Well, good for you, because they're hard to find, honey. They're hard to find. Oh my goodness. Fly Girl 61 says, where do they get off regulating what God put here? Well, honey, look at what if they'll manipulate the weather, okay, everything is on the table. So don't be surprised about the produce, because they're playing God. I said that 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago, with the weather warfare. It was like, well, if they'll try and sell that crap to the younger generation and everybody in between, forget it.
Michelle, honest to gosh, this is true. Yesterday, me and my wife go to my dad's house, right? We took him out to lunch, this, that, and the other. And we went back to his house, and he turned the TV on. He likes to watch some Westerns. And there was a Western, a black and white Western with Kirk Douglas. And I'm no fan of Kirk Douglas. My dad doesn't care for him either. That's not the point. It was a 1956 film or something like that. 1956. I told my dad, look this up. The opening scene was when he was on the prairie, and all of a sudden they do a shot up in the air. What was there? Chemtrails. 1956. This is before I'm even born. Literally, it was chemtrails. They opened a Western with chemtrails.
Yeah.
I said, look at this. This is how long this has been going on, guys. This is how long they've been poisoning humanity.
Yep, that's right. We were talking about this last week, and there was something we showed, I think, on the show, and I was shocked, because you're right, it was going back decades, and I was just going, holy moly, I didn't know that this has been going on that long. It's just like with the stuff about the shots, when during the slowing the spread, you start seeing stuff online, and it starts showing us about stuff from like 1910. And you're going, holy moly, this is like widespread information that just somehow was kept suppressed.
Who opens a Western movie, though, on the prairie with chemtrails?
Well, I mean, good luck finding a sky to shoot that.
I guess, man.
Yeah, yesterday morning I was sitting in my backyard with little Flash Moore. I took him out to potty, and so I look up, and I told producer Ron, I was on the phone with him. I go, you're not going to believe this. He said, what's that? And I said, they are spraying in the night when it's still dark, because now when it's early in the morning, I'm in my backyard, and I look up, and you could tell it was all already spread. And it was more of like a white haze that made the darker blue look a real light blue, like almost like my jacket. And so you could tell. And of course we, had rain late yesterday. So
what they're doing now, though, is they're trying to disguise it. They're spraying behind the clouds, number one. And they're doing it like Morse code. They turn it on and off, on and off, on and off, where you've got these little flicks like this, where people won't catch on to it. And then they're doing it at night. But anybody with a quarter or a half moon can walk outside and look up, and there it is. You can see it plain as day. Checkerboard. They think we're stupid, I guess.
Oh, of course they think we are. They think we're useless leaders too. But that's a whole nother thing.
Bottom feeders.
Useless eaters.
Oh, well, it's bottom feeders.
Yeah, the New World Order. Well, that too, I'm sure. Everything, in the world they could come up with. Okay, so let's go on ahead and let's look at this Dr. Malone video. It's about 4 minutes long, and it's on pesticides. He's talking about legislation being put through with no control for we the people. This is very interesting. I do want to say that I've spoken with Steve Jarvis, and Dr. Malone is part of the Maha Coalition, as well as some other people like Dr. Tenpenny. There are some people that are really good people. I did speak to Steve Jarvis over the weekend, though, and in fact, he's helped me to connect with somebody that's going to be, the guys from, you don't know this yet. So Thursday, we're having the guys, it's Nathan and Chris, on the show with me. They're the guys that did the docuseries. Remember the religion business? So they're going to be on with me on Thursday.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. That'd be good. That'd be a good show.
Yeah, that's going to be a great show.
I might even have to tune in on that one.
I know, right? It's going to be great. What do you mean? You tune in all the time.
I might have to tune in on that one.
You called me last week. I'm watching your show from yesterday with the doctors. Okay, so but Mark, it's so good. I'm excited about having them on, and they're already working on a part 8, but I can't talk about what it's about, but I'll just tell you, you're going to want to see it. That's all I can say.
Good.
All right. So yeah, you of all people will want to see it. That's my hint. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at Dr. Malone and what he has to say.
That all of those listening in should immediately make the association to the consequences of the liability waiver legislation that was passed for vaccines. And the issue of pesticides, herbicides, and these other toxins that for the most part are banned here in Europe, where I am right now, which, by the way, puts the lie to the assertion that farmers need to have access to these products in order to generate a profit and produce their product. They don't need to have access to those products here in Europe. They're not needing to use desiccants, for instance, to mature their grain for harvest. So what we're encountering here is something that is right at the heart of the Make America Healthy Again movement, even if you'll tolerate it, even more than the vaccine agenda. We're talking about our entire food supply pretty much being contaminated by these products, and having legislation put through that'll make it almost impossible for us as consumers to do anything about it. Another anecdote: one of the problems with a lot of these products is wind drift. I have my farrier had I have horses. My farrier is coming to me lately. His neighbor applied high level of Roundup to some of the lands that turns out was actually owned by my farrier. And he's having a lot of toxicity to his horses now, founder, pregnancy loss, etc., that he attributes to the glyphosate. So for anybody that's trying to homestead or organic farm, the presence of these materials in adjacent farms is a major problem. It's really hard to get them out of your soil and out of the ecosystem that you have. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you aren't mad now, you damn well should be. You should be mad as hell, and you should be trying to do something about it. And the something that you have to do, as far as I'm concerned, is sign up on Kelly's site, get active, make a noise, make it clear that this is not acceptable, that we again go through this rodeo of providing indemnification to an industry that's associated with toxic products that are poisoning our children, poisoning our water supply, poisoning our food supply, etc. It's just not okay. And right now, as Kelly eloquently pointed out, this is all being stealthified. It's all being set up to be flown under the radar so that the general populace is asleep for it, doesn't really recognize it. Most of the Congress critters don't know that it's happening. And so they're unaware because they don't read the bills, and they don't make sense out of what's going on in the bills. And as many of you that are legislatively sophisticated, you know that there are all kinds of tricks to split up language into different parts of the bill. So you basically have to have an artificial intelligence tool to even figure out what the heck's going on, except for you have Kelly Ryerson and Meryl Nass to do it for you. So that's my go get 'em message is, if you don't like what happened with vaccine indemnification, you're really not going to like what happens with pesticide and herbicide indemnification. And you better get on the stick now. The people the people before us were a little bit asleep at the switch when the vaccine manufacturers put pressure on Congress and on the president to get that indemnification through. We can't let that happen. And again, we don't need these products. We don't need to feed the world. We just put out a great essay about.
Okay, so just more stuff going on. And like you said, Mark, it's under President Trump.
It's under his watch.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know what to tell people, at this point, unless you start screaming from the rooftops, guys, and start calling the White House, calling your Congress people, calling the Senate, whatever, put pressure, emails, phone calls, whatever it takes. Because look, like you said, all this stuff's banned in Europe. Europe, for the most part, Europe still has clean food in some parts. That's why you don't see a lot of the sickness going on. We're the sickest country on the planet right now. And so this is the reason why.
Yeah. Well, they're poisoning the land, the food, the air, and the water, just like the Holy Spirit showed me, over a
Yeah.
year ago. All right. So the next one was actually a social media post. It's very short. It's a video, but it's Charlie Kirk. He has a social media post. Take a look at what it says.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
So the social media post, for those that can't see it, says import the third world, become the third world. And this is New York City, just in case you were wondering.
Yep.
New York City.
Again, where's the church?
Mhm.
Where's the spiritual advisory board?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
again,
Right. All right. Okay. Have you ever heard of a controlled thought zone? Yes, it's exactly what you think. This is in the UK. Look at this sign. It says controlled thought zone. Are you having arrestable thoughts? Thought monitoring technology has been installed in this area. Prohibited thoughts are punishable by the court of law.
the guys, it's really bad in the UK right now. I know that people are rising up over there, which is a good thing. I know they're protesting a lot of the illegal immigration. They're taking to the streets. This Starmer guy, I mean, this guy is like no good whatsoever. And so, what was it? Even if you go to social media right now and you make a comment about, which should be your right, by the way, but if you go to make a comment on social media, like you disagree with illegal immigration or whatever it is that they have that they don't like, they can arrest you for this over here right now. So that's what this is about. So obviously they have the technology to, if you even have the wrong thought, they're literally telling you right here, you're going to get arrested.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. All right. Have you heard about AB 495? We got a busy video for you to make sure that everybody understands exactly what it is. We want to make sure. So this is out of California. They're trying to pass a brand new bill. And this is insanity. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Because in 2021, the federal government faced a swell of unaccompanied minors at the border and was desperate to place them quickly. What did they do? They reduced vetting procedures, and as a result, the Department of Homeland Security has lost track of over now 600,000 unaccompanied minors. Despite this, California wants to do something similar, but even worse. With just one sheet of paper from the internet, California wants to let someone that is not related to your child remove her from school, enroll her in any other school in the state, authorize any medical treatment of her, including mental health services and drugs, without the parent's notice and knowledge or consent. This is not fear-mongering. I'm not being hyperbolic. It's stated right here in the caretaker's affidavit that I printed for you, which I pulled directly from the bill. Line 6 allows this transfer of parental rights without even having to speak to the parent. The author claims AB 495 is about giving immigrant families the agency to choose the safety plan that works, that preserves family unity. Where is the parental designation? Their signature at the bottom here is not required. She's co-opting a term, non-relative family member, from the foster care and dependency probate systems, but without any of the procedural guardrails. No background checks, no interviews, no home visits, no fingerprinting, parental involvement, or civil, criminal, or professional liability if the child is harmed. Just 100% blanket protection for any adult seeking to abuse any vulnerable child, because this does not limit it to immigrant children. This applies to every single child in the state.
Okay, so when I saw, now remember, they said, what did they say? They can do this without even talking to the parent ever.
Yeah.
But when I saw this, something jogged my memory about Agenda 2030 that I've been looking at again this morning, and I happened to save on my phone. Let's take a look at this New World Agenda. It's the Agenda 2030. So if what happens to be circled in red here, the end of the family unit, this is New World Order, UN Agenda 2030, and it says mission goals, okay? And what's the other one circled in red? Government raised children. So you got the end of the family unit, which then helps to feed the government raised children. I was just talking about this morning with someone on the phone, my lifelong friend that I was telling you about. And so and talking about this very thing. So all of this, and I was telling her about who really funded the women's lib movement and all that kind of stuff. And so, but the end of the family unit, government raised children. What does AB 495 out of California sound like, Mark?
It sounds like all of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's just insanity.
Well,
So,
and I think a big part of this war, honestly, is this list of things you see right here, because it says the end of immigration. Well, you're seeing countries rise up now. People take to the streets because they're sick and tired of these immigrants coming in here, rape, pillaging, murdering, drug, pushing dope. I mean, all this stuff. You're seeing a lot of this. The end of private farms and grazing livestock. We're seeing that right here in the United States, guys. We've been covering it here. So
the end of the single family homes. I've been talking about all the apartments that are being built all around Nashville and the surrounding areas. A lot of condos, townhomes.
And what's this one right here? My goodness, all businesses owned by government corporations. Can you say churches? Can you say all 501c3 churches are government corporations? They're not a church, they're a corporation, and they are owned by the government.
Mm-hmm. Microchip Society for tracking and controlling purchasing and travel, and implementation of a world social credit system like China has. Yeah. And so, I mean, it's all what we've been saying, universal basic income, one world military. So let's talk about this. Why can't our military take out these HARP machines? Oh, honey, is the military running them? Isn't it the military running HARP?
Isn't that what I've been saying all along? Why are we allowing these small nuclear bombs like hurricanes to decimate America? Why are we not launching a military operation against it?
Yeah. But they're in on it. We know that. And so the military is actually in on it. So I don't want to hear anything about Pete Hegseth. I don't want to hear anything about these people until it's just like I had, and I think I might have shared this story on the show at one point a while back. I have a friend who, she is a mutual friend with Marsha Blackburn. Okay. And she and I were talking on the phone. This was a couple of years ago. This friend is a very wealthy woman. Okay. My friend. Marsha Blackburn too, but Marsha always, wants money. And so my friend was asking me about Marsha Blackburn and if I knew anything and about Marsha specifically in my research and just different connections. And so, people that call and reach out to me sharing things they know. So it was very interesting, Mark, because I said to her, well, in these lunches that you've had, has she ever told you about, the corporation? Because I know my friend knows about these things. She watches the show and she was like, no, I asked her about it though. And I go, and what did she say? Well, she literally changed the subject. She got quiet and changed the subject. Okay. So here's my answer. How about this? How about you not give her another red penny or whatever until Marsha comes public and tells the world the truth about what's going on. Otherwise, she's a dirtbag just like all the others. Period. When is somebody going to stand up and tell the American people the truth about the IRS and about, you see what I'm saying, about all these things? Until then, dirtbag, I'm sorry, dirtbag. And so don't give these people any money.
No.
And so it's just as bad as giving it to a 501c3. So anyways, I'm just saying, dirtbags, they're all dirt. People like, do you think this person or that person's any good? Well, have they? And that's my gauge. I've been saying for the last almost 6 years now. Well, let me ask you a question. So has Senator such and so or Congressman such and so that you're asking me about, whichever one they're asking, I'm like, have they told the people the truth? Have they come out? We know that there's been people that's tried to, and then the next day or two later, like the one guy comes out and says he's going to tell about Nisar Jasara, and his plane goes down with his family on it a couple of days later. And so, there's been all different kinds of stuff about the IRS and different things. So, at the end of the day, no, I think they're all dirtbags personally until somebody does something. Just like with Ron DeSantis. What did I say to you? Well, let's see it happen. That's my new phrase. I don't believe anybody until they show me. We know people from their fruit. Show us your fruit, Ron.
Right. And this is the whole thing. We talk about why does the military do this? Well, why doesn't a governor just send an Air National Guard up and escort these planes down to the ground? And they'll ground these planes real quick. All it's going to take is one governor put it in a hot seat and bring national attention to it. You know,
Yeah.
why has Trump never mentioned about this weather modification? Well, I'll tell you why he hasn't mentioned some of this stuff. And I believe it was with the food. I think this is why that we get aggravated on here, because why did RFK Jr. give him 2 years to do the red dye?
Yeah.
Why wasn't it with immediate effect? Because what they're going to do, they're going to change the name, and it'll still be the red dye will still be in there. It'll have 10 different names. Legally, they won't call it red dye number 4 or whatever it is, number 3. They'll call it something else, just like MSG. MSG's under like 10 different names.
That's right.
So, but it's the gatekeepers, and I'm going to go into this a little bit. Trump's gatekeepers are the ones, I believe, that are keeping a lot of this information from him. Now, there was I believe it was Martin Armstrong. Don't quote me on that. I was on Greg Hunter's show here yesterday, I believe it was. He was talking about the fact that he talks to presidents, he talks to different people, this, that, and the other, and he knows President Trump, but apparently they're not taking his phone call because he has a warning for the president on some certain things. And I'm telling you, Paula White is the spiritual gatekeeper. I have it right here in the prophetic words that no true prophet of the living God will ever reach the king's ear as long as Paula White is there. Therefore, none of this information prophetically will ever reach President Trump unless he's listening to this, which I doubt. He's got too many other things to worry about. But this is, so the one that God has really been showing me about is Susie Wiles. Susie Wiles is the main gatekeeper, political gatekeeper. She is the one that everything has to go through, I believe, before it goes to the president. She is the one, I believe, helped keeping some of this stuff away from the president. And so I believe the president knows a lot of things, but he's only one man. He can only know so much. I understand he's a smart man. He's got a very high IQ. I get that. But this is where he needs his advisors. I go into, in the prophetic words here, it talks about how many people does it take to poison someone in the physical with food or drink? 1. To put poison in someone's food or in their water. It's no different spiritually. How many people does it take to poison the ear or speak poison into someone's ear in order to grasp control and influence that individual and their decisions? 1. How many influencers or how many advisors does the president have? Hundreds. He's got political advisors, religious advisors, economic advisors, military advisors. The list goes on. The point is that these gatekeepers like Paula White and Susie Wiles are an absolute, I believe, a demonic stranglehold on the president to purposely keep what needs to get to the president where he can make an informed decision. He can't do it with these people in place. And the problem is he thinks he's got one up on them and he's playing them, or they may be running an op or this, that, and the other, which I'm sick and tired of hearing, because why would you pick Paula White for the second term in a row as your political or as your spiritual gatekeeper like that? No. Sorry, there are mistakes being made, but the problem is nobody wants to call it out and nobody really wants to talk about the mistakes that are being made. And these are the mistakes. And in my opinion, I'm not a sexist. Some people can label him what they want. He's got too many women and too many high-level positions that those men should have.
All right. Topanga says, Susie is everywhere Trump is. I noticed that a few weeks ago. She's always with him.
There you go.
Yeah. Marsha Blackburn always wants, this is Jonathan, always wants digital ID to use the internet like in the UK, disguised as protecting the children. Yeah, I'm not buying it either, Jonathan. There's nothing, I don't buy anything to do with her, period. But anyways, because we need to remember, she's got a very influential position. Oh, by the way, and she was in a sorority, another check mark by her name, as far as I'm concerned. Marsha Blackburn found out recently she had been in a sorority, and that's where what they do. It's the same thing. I have a black lady that I'm very good friends with, and she explained this to me like 6 years ago. She goes, that's what's going on with Kamala Harris. A lot of these black politicians that are female, she goes, they get them from these sororities. And a lot of it is secret societies. They've taken oaths. They've been conditioned. And so there's a training ground where you raise these people up and they do all this demonic crap. And so they're not Christians.
MK Ultra.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. And so there's a whole thing on this, y'all. And so if you don't know what I'm talking about, there is a whole thing about sororities and fraternities being the training up grounds for the people that are in politics or that are politics. And when I saw that about Marsha Blackburn, I was like, another red check mark by her name. Because how many check marks? I say this all the time. How many check marks do you need besides someone's name for you to finally see the truth? A check mark every time something doesn't add up. Check mark. Another thing. I didn't know that. Check mark. And so about 4 or 5 check marks No.
Well, look, when the whole Epstein thing broke and all of America got so angry with the Trump administration, they were calling everybody out. They were turning on the Trump administration. Who was the one that came out and did an interview? Susie Wiles. And she was doing an interview. I can't remember who the interview was, but I was sitting there listening to her, and I'm watching this lady. Oh, she was just being so sweet, and this is just such the best, administration that's ever been, assembled. And this Marco Rubio is just the greatest. I mean, just going on. I'm thinking, sweetheart, you ain't got nobody fooled. I've seen this stuff behind the camera on religious side. Politics is even worse than religion. She's sitting there playing a part, trying to do damage control. This lady's part of the problem.
Okay, wait a minute. Lori on YouTube is saying, do you know that Susie Wiles was Benjamin Netanyahu's campaign manager?
That I don't know. That's above my pay grade on that one.
We're going to have to check on that. I don't know anything about that. That's very interesting if that's the case. That's very interesting. Okay, we're going to move on. Dave Ramsey, let's take a look. So we got a viewer who wrote in needing some advice. Y'all, you can't make this stuff up. This is why we do the show.
This question comes from Kate in Michigan. I'm a marketing professional in my early 20s. I started my own business and I earn over $150,000 a year. Congratulations, Kate. I have close to $125,000 as a down payment on my first house. But a lot of people around me are pressuring me to not buy a home. Oh, good gravy. Because of Christian beliefs that girls, I'm reading it how she wrote it, that girls shouldn't buy a home and men should be providers. I don't have a boyfriend, so I'm not getting dude, I can't finish this. I'm not even close to getting married. What would you advise your daughter to do?
Leave the cult.
Leave whatever madness and misrepresentation of Christian beliefs and ethics and right and wrong immediately.
That is not a Christian belief, darling.
No.
That's a cult belief.
God almighty. I would advise my daughter to buy a house with $125,000 she has saved as a down
and
payment.
Keep being the studette that you are.
Jeez.
And hope that some guy is lucky enough to even catch your eye. You make the rest of us that love Jesus look like we're morons because you're a moron when you do stuff like this. That's just nuts. This burns my butt.
I don't have any words to say here, man.
It's just, I hate bad doctrine and bad theology and how it affects people when they get in toxic situations. So I'm sorry, darling. Your mother and father have misled you. Leave the cult.
You know who says this crap? Men who are afraid of losing control of
because they're not as
amazing
smart
women like this,
and they're not as ambitious, and they don't have as much get up and go,
and so to
even stand up next to a woman like this.
They take their insecurity and fear and try to duct tape Jesus on the top of it to keep their crumbling kingdoms from coming out from under them. Kate, you're amazing. Good for you.
Kate, you're an absolute incredible human being.
Jeez,
go shine, girl.
All right. So, yeah. Just insanity.
We're not the only ones calling it out, so.
That's right. That's right. Okay, now let's take a look at this the story about the 29-year-old youth pastor that was arrested. Let's take a look.
Thanking God that you're still breathing, hearing a newborn baby cry like raising your hands.
The man you just saw in that video was 29-year-old youth pastor Zachary Radcliffe. Before his arrest, Zachary was very active and outspoken in the political world, and he was deeply involved in his church. But as it turns out, Zachary was a hardcore pedophile. Zachary was arrested last year after authorities were given a tip. And when they investigated him, what they found was nothing short of disturbing. Since at least 2011, Zachary had been molesting children whose ages ranged from 12 to 17 years old. He had also been soliciting these children to have them send him sexually abusive material. And while all this was going on, he was playing for large crowds and hanging out with the political elite. So Zachary was finally arrested in October of 2024. Zachary was finally arrested in 2024. And in 2025, this is what the judge presiding over his case had to say. I don't say this lightly at all, not how I operate my life and certainly not how I operate as a judge. But in my 25 so plus years, I've seen a lot. This ranks up with one of the most egregious predators I have ever seen as it regards individuals. Thankfully, I think Zachary's going to be in prison for a long time, but it always seems like these groups, like youth groups at churches, attract the worst of the worst from society. For a guy like Zachary, he might have seen an open buffet.
Okay, so I'm not seeing anything. I mean, this is terrible, and it just now we're paying for 3 meals and a cot,
3 hots
like
and a
you said.
cot. Yep.
Yeah, unbelievable.
So
Um,
look, when this doesn't even scratch the surface of what's coming, Michelle. We've been talking about this. When you start finding out who these guys are, I notice who the picture was with: Jerry Falwell. You had Trump Jr. right there. You had and I can't remember the other girl's name at the time he was dating
the
her.
ex-girlfriend.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the ex-girlfriend. So here we go again. Now, look, I know they probably didn't know this guy, but the point is this: is that
Yeah.
mistakes are being made. Mistakes are being made, and we've all made mistakes by hanging around the wrong individual till you find out who they are. But this doesn't scratch the surface of what's coming. When people find out these big names have been satanic ritually abusing kids, they've been trafficking people, they've been satanic ritual abuse, sacrificing, whatever it is, people are going to get knocked on their cans, and we're going to be the ones out here trying to pick up the pieces when it all comes out at some point, because it's all going to come out at some point.
Okay, I did look, and I don't see anything about Susie Wiles running Netanyahu's campaign or being his campaign manager. So if somebody has something and can email it to me, a link that I can look. I'm looking at her Wikipedia, and I'm just not seeing it. I did see where she was a lobbyist. I forgot about that. And so, okay, the next thing I wanted to show is, which this is just scary. I don't understand why people get in a car like a Tesla and let it drive you. I just can't imagine. But this gentleman gets in the car. Sounds like there's a woman in the car. I don't know if it's his wife or whatever, but he tells the car, take us somewhere we've never been. Okay. I have to say, when you see where it takes him, it is kind of sweet justice. It's like, well, if you're going to be dumb enough to say that, well, here you go. Let's take a look.
Tesla, take me somewhere I've never been before. Oh,
this ought to be interesting.
let's see where it takes us. Turning right. Let's see.
Well, that's good.
Wonder where it's going to take us. Like, how? It has to be just places we've never been in. This, like, I wonder where it's
Headed toward Mooresville.
Yeah. I've been to Mooresville. Where it's going? Pretty sick.
And that narrows it down. There's so many places off this exit. Been to most of them though. About just about any eating restaurant around here.
It says we're pulling in.
Oh. I guess you've never been there.
Me?
Okay, so I mean, hey, if you're gonna do it, I thought, well, that's sweet justice right there.
Yep.
Okay, so producer Ron looked it up for us. I told you we got the best producer. So he says Google AI says this: was Susie Wiles Netanyahu's campaign manager in Israel? And the answer is, while Susie Wiles is a prominent American political strategist and has been involved with campaigns for U.S. politicians like Donald Trump, she was not, and a bunch more, she was not Benjamin Netanyahu's campaign manager in Israel. However, reports indicate that Susie Wiles, along with other members of Donald Trump's campaign team, including Corey Lewandowski and Tony Fabrizio, I don't know who that is, visited Israel in 2020 to offer strategic advice and assistance to Benjamin Netanyahu's campaign during a crucial election period. Netanyahu's staff requested help from Trump's inner circle, and the team provided assistance through their involvement. Though their involvement was reportedly short-lived due to the Likud party's inability to afford their services. That's interesting. Because you would think that he would have plenty of money. Planet Fitness, LOL. I know, right?
Yep.
Okay. Also, viewer Ray says Paula White gave thanks to Mother Moon recently. I heard that myself. I think she's done it many times. I've seen that video too and watched the whole thing. Yeah, there's some shady stuff going on there.
But see, when you're doing that, you're opening up America for curses, because she's a spiritual gatekeeper, right? Just like
Yes.
Trump is the actual gatekeeper of America right now. The problem
Yes.
is he is given authority to her to open those gates, doors, and portals spiritually. That's the problem. No different than Susie Wiles. Susie Wiles has got a heck of a background, and when you look at her, this lady's got an incredible amount of power. Just like Devin Nunes with Truth Social, these are all gatekeepers. Devin Nunes a gatekeeper. They don't tell Trump what's going on with Truth Social. The fact that they are censoring on Truth Social, just like they're censoring me. You know, we've been all stuck at the same following for a year. They censor, you don't get much engagement, this, that, and the other. None of that stuff makes it to President Trump's ears because Devin Nunes is not going to tell him this stuff, and Susie Wiles is definitely not going to let him this stuff. So, but you can see it all over the interview she was in. Forget it, guys. I mean, use your own discernment. Use your own discernment.
Okay, I just have to laugh. All right, Jason Miller on YouTube says, I guess the seat weighed him, LOL. Talking about the car that took you to Planet Fitness.
That's pretty scary. That thing's smart enough to pick up on that. You know what I mean?
I know.
This is the problem.
It is a big problem, and you're just letting the car take you wherever, please. That was a good one-liner, though, Jason. Thanks for the laugh. All right. So before we let you go, would you please share just some closing thoughts for this week?
Somebody in here was saying pray for her. I don't know who her means. I don't know if that's Susie Wiles or Paula White, but yeah, let's pray that God gets them out of there. Gets all these women out of here that don't need to be in these positions.
That's right. That's right. Gets them out of there. I like that. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Mark
Thank you for having me on.
Always great having you. Thank you. He's not really feeling that great. So I'm so thankful that he still comes on and works so hard for us. He really does put a lot of work into being on the show and sends me stuff all through the weekend and everything. He really works hard for us. And so anyways, just to share a little bit behind the scenes on that. Friday, I did not do the show. As many of you know, I got many emails over the weekend and private messages just saying, hey, I'm praying for you. So here's a couple of things that happened. I'm going to say as much as I can. Well, the first one is I've been rear-ended 3 times since I was in my early 20s, and while I'm at a complete stop. And so I've had a number of concussions, as well as dove down in 4 foot of water at Nashville Shores with my kids and thought it was 6 foot of water. So I was on the couch in a lot of pain for about 2 months, had a miraculous healing. I think I've probably talked about it on the show before. I'm sure I'll talk about it again soon at some point, but it's one of my God stories. But anyways, and so what happened was I tripped. This is how crazy it is. So I tripped on Friday. And when I tripped, it jarred my head enough. Didn't even hit my head, but it jarred my head enough where I felt like I had a concussion all weekend until this morning. And I still don't quite feel completely right, but I'm getting better. Your brain and everything really heals when you are sleeping. And so every time I sleep and get a bunch of rest, so I'm using my nighttime Godly Granny magnesium cream. So I'm sleeping great. And so that is really helping. So every time I sleep and get a good night's sleep, I'm waking up better and better. So wanted to let you know that. Then, I guess it was about an hour and 20 minutes before. I guess I'll say it this way. I'm the matriarch of the family. And when the kids need you, the kids need you. So something happened and a child needed me. And so on top of my head and all of that, I'd literally just gotten off the phone with producer Ron telling him how bad my head was hurting and I was going to lay down and that I would see him at the regular time that I normally see him. But if you don't hear from me before then, just know I'm sleeping. This is what's happened. I'm going to lay down. I don't feel well, but I'll be able to do the show. I was really wanting to do the show because I wanted Preachin Cowboy to come on. Friday was a big deal. It's a big show for him. It was his 500th show. So we were set to have Preachin Cowboy come on. His name is Jerry. And so he has had a show with us and all 500 episodes have been with True Talk America. And so I wanted to celebrate and I was very excited about it. And so it was very frustrating for me to not do the show at the last minute. But when, like I said, when the child needs you, a child needs you, you go. And so anyways, and then, but I asked producer Ron to arrange for Jerry to see if Jerry could be here today, Preachin Cowboy. And so he is. And so let's go on ahead and bring him in. I just wanted to give everybody a little bit of a backstory. I'm doing much better. Hi, Preachin Cowboy. How you doing, honey?
Oh, if I was any better, I'd be twins.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So Jerry, I first of all want to make sure people realize like one show is a lot of work. And for you to do 5 shows a week and to do what you do with the teachings and all of that, it is just so amazing. And I just want to tell you, just me personally, I am grateful for you, even just being the willing hands and feet of Jesus to do and be obedient to the calling on your life. Because I know there are so many that feel like they don't hear God. And then I've talked with people, they're like, well, I know God's calling me to do such and so, I'm just not doing it. And they don't walk in that obedience. But for you, of course, I know it's a lot of work for a show. And for you to do this 5 days a week and to do it with the just, oh my goodness, just the commitment that you and your lovely producer have to make this happen. It's just so amazing. And I just want to say thank you for walking in that obedience, and thank you for doing what you do. And I'm honored that, you happen to do it here with Truth Talk America, which, of course, everybody I think probably knows that watches the show that Truth Talk America is owned by myself and producer Ron. It was from a word, and we're going to talk about that today as well, but about how Truth Talk America came to pass, and to be. But I just want you to know, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I've watched your shows. They encourage me. As you know, there's been times I've called you and said, oh my goodness, I was listening this morning. This is exactly what I needed. And this is what God showed me, and just really witnessed to me. And so I know that your teachings are Holy Spirit led. I know that God has really been, for decades doing a work with you and in you. And I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, thank you for giving me the platform. It's an honor. I mean, all we can do. So one thing I've really learned, and you get to be my age and you look at life in decades, right?
Yes.
Not years, decades. And I loved the show with Mark, what you guys were talking about, because there's two things that the Lord has really been impressing on me this last year. All it takes for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
Where's the church? Just like you guys were saying, where's the church? Why are the Christians not rising up? Well, it's very simple. Deception. The 501c3s, we have watered down the gospel, and we've made Christianity something that it changes your life. I got to try to figure out how to say this correctly. So our basic mandate from God for anybody that's watching this, what is my calling, right? What is my calling? Well, in Genesis, God said, go, be fruitful, multiply, have dominion, and subdue the earth. There's your calling. Be fruitful. That means take the talents that you have and cause them to grow, right? The parable of the talents that Jesus taught in the Gospels. Multiply. Have children, right? Multiply. Have dominion. That means have power and authority over this physical realm. And then subdue the earth. Well, there's another scripture in the Old Testament that says when the righteous rule, the city prospers.
Yes.
But you see, the righteous backed out because we believed a lie that the devils told us back during my grandfather's era, separation of church and state. And so the Christians, righteous people, backed out of government completely. Guess who didn't back out?
That's right.
Right? The devil. Right. He hit it at a dead run. I mean, since 1911. Well, since 1871, right? Yeah. And it's just progressively gotten worse and worse and worse to where nowadays, we ask, well, how can this be happening? Because we allowed the enemy, we gave him the key to the front door.
That's right. That's right. Jerry, I wanted to ask you also. So I wanted you to share today while you're on the show, the word that you received like 3 decades ago, if I remember correctly, it's close to 30 years ago that you had a prophetic word that was spoken over you. And I wanted you to share that word.
It's actually about 40 years ago. But yeah, no. So there was a prophet from South Africa. And anyhow, it's a little church that I was going to at the time. And he was ministering to the church, the service, and he came walking by me and he stopped dead in his tracks. And he turned around and he stepped back and he stood right in front of me and he said, "What do you want from the Father?" And I said, "Well, I want to know, am I going to go to work for UPS or am I going to train horses?" And he said, "That's a strange question to ask a prophet." And he started to walk away, and then he turned around and he said, "Neither. You're going to work with computers." And I laughed out loud. And I said, "Well, that will definitely be God." And he said, "Hey, you asked me. I'm just telling you what the Lord said." And I said, "Okay." So at that point in time, I was working part-time for UPS and I was training horses on the side and stuff. Anyhow, so fast forward 4 decades, here I am.
That's right. Working with computers.
Yeah, when he said that, he said, "I'm not clear on how you're going to be doing it." He said, "I don't see if you're selling them or fixing them or just working on them or what." But he said, "It's something to do with computers." And here I am looking in a computer monitor and being able to get the gospel out to
That's awesome.
hundreds of homes every day. You know, and the reason I know the Lord told me to do what I'm doing is because people are busy. We have allowed the enemy to trick us into building a lifestyle that we don't have time. And it's so subtle, nobody even gets it, right?
Yeah.
We don't have time to get in the Word in the morning. So I thought I'd do a show every morning, 7 o'clock. People are either already driving to work or they're getting ready. They can just turn it on in the background and keep doing what they're doing and hear the gospel.
It's so good. Okay, so I was speaking with a lady Friday morning that lives in Texas, and she got to talking about you, and she said, "I just love him." She goes, "I listen to him. I watch his show every morning." She said, "I start every weekday with him," and she was just so grateful and, telling me how much she enjoyed your show and what she's learned from you. And so I just wanted to pass that along. There's so many times that I get emails where people are thanking me for just helping you to have an outlet as to how to share the gospel. And I wanted you to know that a lot of times conversations, people will bring you up and talk about you, or even your lovely wife who has 2 shows as well. And so, but I want to tell you, I don't know if do you know the story about how Truth Talk America came to happen?
Bits and pieces of it.
Okay.
Yes.
I really don't think I've shared it, completely with anybody. In fact, I had to call producer Ron. I think it was early Friday morning, and said, it came to me to share this story. And I said, I want to tell you what I remember and my perception, my story. And then I want you to tell me if anything is different. And so I told him the whole thing, and he goes, "No, that's exactly what happened." So I was like, okay, good. So anyways, I would hate to say something on the air and then it not be completely accurate. So here's what happened. So I'm hearing the Holy Spirit. I'm having visions about the Michelle Moore Show. And one day producer Ron calls me. We have not done episode 1. Like, we are not even there yet. And, it took me a minute anyways, because I knew it was going to be a lot of work. I knew there would be like a visual side to it. I really liked radio, but also I'd had this Christian television deal that I thought I was going to do. And so I really it just didn't make sense to me in the natural why God would call me to do this and not, because surely he would want me to do Christian television. It just wasn't making sense. Now it all makes sense, but that's a whole nother story. So what happened is I was really hesitating, but God was just really giving me the visions. And I've shared some of this on my show before. So many people watching, I'm sure, know a lot of those details. But I'm having conversations with God. I'm really hesitating. This is going on for a couple of months. And so Ron calls me, though, in that time frame and says, "Michelle, you're not going to believe what happened. I'm like, what? Tell me. And he goes, I was driving and God gave me Truth Talk America. Now we start thinking that it's some kind of an online internet radio thing that we had just learned about. So we not even thinking anything like this, but he keeps bringing it up. And you may not know this about me, but if you've got more than 2 words to a title of anything, I'm pretty much going to be like, now what's it called again? Like I can remember Nashville Michelle, but if you start talking about, other things like, I'm just going to be like, no. And he's like, Truth Talk America. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. And this went on for months where he'd start talking about Truth Talk America and this and that. And when he called me, he's like, Michelle, I heard it. I pulled the car over. I was driving. I pulled the car over and I've already bought all the domains to it. And I'm like, what? And he's like, that's how clearly I heard it. I'm like, okay, well, the whole thing about launching the Michelle Moore Show, he keeps bringing up Truth Talk America. And I'm like, what's that? And he's like, because it's more than 2 words. And so he's like, that's the whole thing with the radio. And he is really excited about it. And I'm like, why is he bringing this up? We're busy with launching this thing God keeps talking to me about. I don't know why he keeps bringing it up. Well, anyways, and so fast forward, a network that we don't no longer say their name here at the Michelle Moore Show, decides to abruptly remove me from their network. And so after I did a show called Is General Michael Flynn Really Who You Think He Is? Well, that got me booted off the network, apparently. And so I end up in the studio at the she shed, and producer Ron and I are working. And so the whole network thing happened on a Tuesday. So Thursday, after Thursday's show, producer Ron looks over at me. He's sitting at his desk and we had just finished that day's show. And he goes, Michelle. And I'm like, yes. And he goes, what if Truth Talk America is this? And I'm like, this what? And like, I'm thinking, I don't even know what he's talking about. And he's like, maybe it's a network. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have to see 3 camels walk in my living room today by like 6 o'clock. Okay. And so, cause I'm just like, I'm not one to add anything to my plate at the time. And so he's like, no, it could really be this. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to have, and so I say, cause I have this saying that I say, I can have 100 ideas between the time I wake up until noon of all different kinds of great things to do, and great ideas, but it doesn't mean that I'm supposed to do them. Okay. And so, or in this case, producer Ron and I, we are supposed to do it. So I'm very non-committal, not very excited. But it's seeming like it could make sense, but I just, non-committing. So I said, why don't we take the weekend to pray about it? And so he says, okay. So that's a Thursday. Saturday morning, so a day and a half later, I wake up to an email that a lady has written me. She is urgently wanting to speak with me. So we get on, I call her. I get a few things done. I finally call her. And so she starts talking to me about what she wanted to talk with me about. And then she goes, Michelle, I've got something else I want to bring up. And I'm like, okay. And she says, have you ever thought about doing your own network? And I'm like, what did you just say? And so this is the weekend I'm praying about it, right? No one's ever talked to me about starting my own network. And I'm like, what did you just say? And so anyways, that's what we call, boys and girls, that's what we call a confirmation. So I was getting them all weekend and I'm like, oh my word, this is crazy. So we think it's this huge monumental thing, and it's plenty to do, but because of so much other stuff we'd already been through and walked out, we weren't just starting at ground zero with everything. So producer Ron was able to have the right meetings and realize that, after the meeting the following Friday, I talked to him about it and I'm like, okay, so, how big of a deal is this? Can you have it done in a month or two? And he's like, oh, I can have it done by Monday. And I'm like, I'm sorry, like this Monday? And he's like, yeah, it's Friday. I can have it done by Monday. And I'm like, now, of course, I always tell people like, oh yeah, no big deal. That's coming from somebody that can't do it themselves, of course. No big deal means, oh yeah, producer Ron can take care of that. And so we always laugh because I'm like, yeah, that's out of my pay grade. Producer Ron has to do that. And so I say no big deal, but that's because he had it up on Monday and we were up and running and it was just crazy. And it was the last thing in the world I would have ever thought. But all weekend we were having the craziest, just God, confirmations. And I love it too, because Ron and I know each other so well at this point, and we're like a brother and sister. I say we were really twins, even though we don't look anything alike. He's tall, I'm short, the whole thing. I'm like, But it's so funny because we can finish each other's sentences on stuff. And we've worked together for like 12 years and just been really like I said, brother, sister. And he says, he's like, well, what I think is great about it is that God gave that word to him, and not everything always comes to me. And so, because so many times I'm always kind of leading that charge because God showed me this or God told me that. And so I just think that the network is the one thing that God gave to Ron. And Ron knows that I've been asking him, is the network really something that we need to keep doing? It's so much work for you. And he just always is holding on to it. And so I've been just still kind of almost not so sure. And then Friday morning, it just came over me. The Holy Spirit just came over me. And it was just like, this is going to go through a growing season. Like, I've been great with whatever it's supposed to be. It's going to be. I don't have any expectations. And so it hasn't been as busy or as big as I thought it was going to be, but I just assumed. And so it's been funny because we haven't added shows when we could have done a lot of things with it and forced it along. But I just was at peace with, well, whatever God says, I've just had it in God's hands. And so it's been amazing because Friday morning, it came over me that it's getting ready to have a growth spurt. And so it was like, okay, whatever is it supposed to be, God, I just want it to be what you want it to be, God. And so I'm at peace with that. I have no agenda with it. I have no expectations. And it's just been sweet to see, see it grow. And then also now to have that impressed upon my spirit that it's getting ready to have a bigger growth spurt. So that's exciting to hear. And we'll see what, God is going to do. We know I just announced a little while ago that ATKNJ is going to be now we're going to be now airing his show. He's joining the Truth Talk America team family as well. So that'll be nice to have his show as well. Thursday nights at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, which he does with Mark Taylor. So Mark will be doing a second show that now airs on our network. So it's great. And I just want to say, I wanted to make sure that people realized that what you do is a lot of work and it's a big commitment. And I just wanted you to know how much I appreciate you. I pre-recorded because your lovely wife, who serves as your producer, Gigi, she had reached out to producer Ron and me and said that they were going to be doing a special for you on Friday. And so I wanted to share with everybody that didn't see it what my video message was. So producer Ron, if you would please play that real quick. Hi, Jerry. 500 episodes. Wow. I remember when we were just talking about you doing this. This is amazing. 500 episodes. I'm pretty sure now this is what I'm thinking. So congratulations on 500 episodes, not only to you, but to your producer. I'm pretty sure you're going to need to take her out for a great steak dinner to celebrate. Wow. I'm so glad that you're part of the Truth Talk America family. And I just want to say seriously, though, at the end of the day, if you think about it, it's not just 500 shows, it's 500 words, it's 500 lessons, it's 500 spirit-filled, Holy Spirit-led lessons that you've been able to teach and help and guide others to be able to know God and to live a life that is honoring to him. And I just want to say, wow, job well done. And I can't wait to see what the future holds. Congratulations, Jerry, and your producer, Gigi.
Amen. She is good, isn't she?
She's amazing. She's an amazing woman from top to bottom. She's amazing. If people even knew the hell that the deep state has put her through, which is a whole nother show, but Jerry and you as well. And then here you are, the two of you faithfully serving. I don't know if everybody knows about Gigi doing a show, but I called Gigi. I said, the Holy Spirit gave me a vision. And she says, oh, and I said, yeah, I said, and I told her what the vision was. And I said, the Holy Spirit showed me you were going to be doing a show. And she goes, oh no, that's Jerry. And I said, no, honey, it's you. Just call me back when you catch up, honey. And you just pray about it. You just let me know when you catch up with me and we'll talk about it. And she was like, what? And I said, yeah. She was like, me? And I said, yes. I said, I know what I saw and I know what the Lord showed me. And I said, so, the way I see it, just so everybody knows, the way I see it is like when God gives you a word for somebody, or you've got something someone's giving you a word for, either way it goes. God will give you, God's word says that he'll give you confirmations, 2 to 3 confirmations. So you'll get confirmations. I don't need to talk you into it. And you don't need to just go on what I say, right? Thus saith the Lord, you shall divorce your husband. No, that's not, no. And so God will show you what you need to be doing. And so when I called her, it was like, okay, well, this is going to be one of your confirmations, apparently. But I said, you just pray about it. And when, the Lord shows you and you're caught up, you just call me and we'll get it all worked out. So I'm not going to sit there and try and talk her into it. I'm not going to do that with anybody. But I've had that situation happen so many times where I'm like, yeah, you just let me know when God shows you and everything, and you're up to snuff on everything, and you catch up with where I'm at. You just, call me. It'll happen because God showed me it's to happen. But it was so good. It was just so cute. She's so sweet anyways and just adorable. But it was just, she just was like, no, that's Jerry. And I was like, it's Jerry and you, honey. But you just let me know. And now she's doing, 2 different shows, and she's got 3 days a week where she's doing shows. And she's such a great teacher. And the vision that the Lord gave me was her sitting in a rocking chair in front of a fireplace. And it was really, and there were children on the floor listening to her every word, and she was teaching. And but I knew when I saw the children, the word of knowledge that came to me was that really they were babies or children in the spirit, but they were really adults. And so I was seeing children, but it was really, they were adults that were baby Christians, so to speak. They were baby believers. They didn't have the meat. They weren't yet on the meat. And so she was teaching and raising them up. And so it was just so good. I'll never forget. And so anyways, but that's how the Lord will work sometimes. Just give somebody else your phone will ring, and it'll be, Michelle Moore calling you to tell you that you're going to be doing a show. Just let me know when you catch up.
Right? Exactly. Yeah, we have a good time on Wednesdays. She does her kind of geopolitical shows on Tuesday and Thursday, but on Wednesday, her and Andrea and I do Remnant teachings, and we have so much fun. We should record the conversations we have beforehand.
You ought to hear what Mark Taylor says to me. Oh my gosh, he got me so good one time. Oh my goodness. He's really funny, and he got a good dig on me one time, and it was like, ouch. And so anyways, it's so funny. But Jerry, thank you so much for being here, and congratulations. And I will have you back at your 1000th show as well. So tell Gigi to keep counting. All right. Thank you, sweetheart. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, he's just precious. Okay, now I have one other thing I want to read to you. I was thinking about this, and I said this even earlier today about the fruit. God, where's your fruit? Where's the fruit? Okay, so I want to share something that I received. This was Friday morning. I had this planned also for, I think this was Friday morning, August the 1st. Yeah, it was Friday morning. This was it. And so this was so sweet. And it just goes to show you, I think this side of heaven, I'll never know all the ways that this show has made a difference. Not saying that in a braggy way on me, is bragging on God, because God's going to use it, and because it's God's show. And I tell God that, and I have had the opportunity to prove that numerous times to him and to others as well. Okay. And so anyways, but one of our viewers, her name is viewer Amy, and she said, "Hi, Michelle. I just wanted to give you a testimony regarding ivermectin and Dr. Mark. I'm sorry. So Mark is the gentleman who is the amazing man. Dr. Mark was the doctor that we had our first ivermectin program with. We filled 2,000 prescriptions helping people. Now, so she's written me. She says, last December, I started experiencing pain and a lump in my breast and went to my regular doctor. She said there was several lumps and ordered me a mammogram. I do not believe in those. I mean, who wants to smash themselves into a vice? LOL. And she says, plus, I just believe that if someone really has the C word, we all know what that means. She goes, that mammograms can spread it even worse. I also believe that most C words are actually parasites. My girls were very concerned and were pressuring me a lot to get it done. So it was a bit stressful. But I prayed about it. And right after that, I found out about Dr. Mark and ivermectin on your show. You helped me contact him, and Dr. Mark agreed that it was likely a parasite in my lymph nodes and prescribed me ivermectin. Within 1 week, the pain was gone, and within a month, the lumps were gone. Praise God. I am so glad I sought the Lord and trusted the Holy Spirit to not go the conventional route most women are directed to go. Thank you so much, Michelle, for your heart to make us healthy. Keep doing what you're doing. The Lord is with you. Many blessings and love, Amy. Whew, I'm not going to cry, even though I should have made Jerry cry before I let him go. But anyways, that's amazing. And it really blessed me, obviously, to get that. And I wanted to share it with you. We've got another amazing testimony that we received as well. Just amazing how the world works. But we'll share it tomorrow. I don't think there's much more I could say that would be much greater than that testimony. So I'm going to go on ahead and end today's show right there. So we're going to end it on a really, really big high. And I will see you right here tomorrow, right here next time on The Michelle Moore Show. Hi, friends. It's Michelle Moore. And when it comes to protecting your retirement, I believe in taking smart, steady steps. Bank of America analysts call gold the ultimate safe haven, and when it comes to precious metals, I trust Universal Coin and Bullion, the official rare coin and bullion dealer of my show. They have been named the best in their industry both nationally and regionally by leading organizations. Consider a gold IRA, a time-tested way to diversify your portfolio with real tangible assets, which lets you move a portion of your retirement savings into physical gold, helping protect your wealth from inflation, market swings, and economic uncertainty. And Universal Coin and Bullion makes the process easy. From rollovers to delivery, they walk you through every step, even if you have one with another gold company. Protect what you've worked so hard to build from the team that I trust, Universal Coin and Bullion. At 800-321-8700, and make sure to tell them Michelle sent you.
Trying to get healthier is full of can'ts.
Come on, Grandma, come play. Come play with us, Grandma.
I can't move. So you go to the doctor.
Your body can't figure this out. So take this, and this.
Because your body can't. But is it true your body can't? Maybe your body can. All you need is a little support. Wave Watch is a wearable device that uses sound wave therapy to help your body heal itself. Studies are showing that all cells in our bodies resonate at unique frequencies, and specific sounds can stimulate them. Your body can deal with pain, so you can play hard.
WaveWatch comes with a 1-year manufacturer's warranty for defects and flaws, and you can upgrade to an additional warranty for water damage and breakage. Go to WaveWatch.com. Be sure to use the discount code Michelle100 at checkout to receive $100 savings on your purchase.
Toxic chemicals are everywhere, even in products we've used for generations. Now there's a replacement solution, Godly Granny. Godly Granny products are nutraceutical, clean products with purpose. All our products like skin creams, bath bombs, lip scrubs, deodorants, and more are free of the Godly Granny 5 Dirty Dozen list. That's 60 harmful chemicals many other companies use that you'll never find in our products. Go to godlygranny.com today. Be sure and use the discount code Michelle10 at checkout to receive 10% off your entire order.
For Michelle's social media links, go to MichelleMooreShow.com.